Welcome to the show, everyone. It's the Crypto Lark. Today I have with me Mike Kayamori. He is the CEO of Qash. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me, Lark.
Now, you guys over at Qash are doing so much, and it's really interesting. Can you give us kind of the elevator pitch or maybe the overview of the Qash ecosystem? I know you have a few of the names on the board behind you there, but can you lay it out for us?
The quick elevator pitch of Cash is it is the utility token for all crypto related investments and financial services. Starting with our own platform, which is an exchange, but we are expanding that services. But eventually, which will integrate into our Cash DLT. So any company who will use our blockchain or our DLT to build financial services on top of it, the Cash token will be that utility token that supports that.
Oh, interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, before we dive too deeply into Qash and all the interesting things that you guys are doing, I want to talk a little bit about Japan because that's where you guys are headquartered at, correct?
Of course. Correct.
Now, there's increasing oversight happening in Japan. We've seen Binance, they decided to move to Malta. Do you see this as a good thing or a bad thing for the Japanese market? And how is Qash trying to be compliant within this space?
That's a great question. So I don't think it's about good or bad. This is the direction of where governments and regulators are going. And Japan or the Japanese regulators are at the forefront of it, right? So they are the first nation state that regulated specifically cryptocurrency exchanges and trading. And now with ICOs coming, all these security issues, they're trying to strengthen that. Other nation states are all looking into Japan. They're studying how the Japanese government is treating cryptocurrency and they're implementing that in their own regulation. G20 is looking into it, the US, Europe, everybody's looking into it. So I don't think it's about good or bad. This is the direction. And you will be, I wouldn't say you'll be forced to make a decision, but you will have to decide if you're pro-regulation or anti-regulation.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge will be if you go the anti-regulation, you will become a nomad. I mean, yes, you can say we're completely decentralized,
Mm-hmm.
but as long as you live in a world in a regulated government nation state, unfortunately, you will be regulated, and it's not only the regulators, it's the local police and the authorities and the tax as well, the tax
Oh,
authority.
yeah.
So from that perspective, it was okay when it was still a niche, ideology-driven, free society embraced Satoshi Nakamoto Bitcoin. Yeah, it was okay maybe like 3 years ago, 5 years ago. But when you look at the next 3 years, next 5 years, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is, and it's going to be even more regulated by governments and also regionally as well.
Interesting. One more question on Japan for you before we kind of dive into what you guys are doing over at Cash. Why is crypto so gosh darn popular in Japan? Is it just Japanese millennials or like Japanese grandpas? Are they going out and buying Bitcoin too? And what percentage of your customers are Japanese? And then how are you going to take that to a wider market?
Yeah, so the interest is across the entire spectrum of demographic. But the people who actually trade or buy are these millennials and the 20s, 30s, and maybe the early 40s. So when I look at it, like Japan has always been one of the largest retail foreign exchange markets. Rather than equities or commodities, they always looked at the USD, JPY,
Mm-hmm.
and that was there because Japan was an export-driven country. It was always about foreign currencies versus the Japanese yen. So actually, Japan is the world's largest retail FX market. It's natural for them to look at the next up and coming, shiny, brightest investment asset, which is similar to a currency, but you can actually buy it with your smartphone. You can use it, you can spend it, you can give it, you can receive it. It's a much better, interesting new form factor, which has a more enormous opportunity for growth, right? So from that perspective, it was almost natural for Japanese retail FX traders to come on board. And that really expanded into a new generation of people who came in. So, and also I think the comfort that it's regulated, that it's a proper business, that your assets are segregated, there's proper privacy controls, all these things as a financial service, especially when you're licensed and regulated, that brings a lot of comfort and safety and security. So I think the combination of that really made the market grow.
Very interesting. So that's a really interesting perspective. You know, young Japanese people, like I said, it's across the board though, but everyone's kind of looking, well, this is the new FX market. Let's hop in. Let's get involved. That's really, really interesting. Okay, great. Well, go
If
ahead.
I were to add, so I don't think it's a subset of the FX market. I think it's going to be larger, right? Because of the visibility, the excitement around it, that it's bringing in new younger generation who are not even familiar with FX. Cryptocurrency is their actually first investment asset class, right? So it's bringing in a much new, different type of demographic. It started out with the FX users, but I think the market opportunity is much bigger than FX.
It'll be really interesting one day that people will look back and go, people used to use other currencies. I just pay with Bitcoin everywhere for everything. Be interesting
Correct.
times to live in. Now, I want to dive into what you guys are doing. So, recently you have launched ICO Mission Control. What is it?
Yeah, so when you think about it, right, if you're an aspiring entrepreneur and what you're good at is maybe building a D app or building a new protocol or building a new service on top of a distributed ledger technology, that is what you're good at. And you should focus on that. Raising capital is a one-time thing. And hopefully it's a successful thing. It is one of the most important things because you need to pay your employees, you got to pay yourself, you got to build that ecosystem. But when you look globally, right, whether if it's an IPO or traditional way of fundraising, that is important, but that should not be your core competency. You should not be spending your entire time just fundraising and just doing that. While when you look at it right now, a token issuer, you have to do all of it yourself, right? You create a landing page, you create a smart contract, you attract people globally so that they come in and you whitelist it, and you get worried that you might be hacked, so you do all these tests. And that is taking away your precious time and resources where you could have used that to build your product and launch your service faster, right? So our platform, what really differentiates us from other offshore exchanges is we're regulated in Japan, which means we do proper KYC, AML. This is like know your customer, anti-money laundering. All these things are in place. So our user base are all KYC cleared.
Mm-hmm.
So when a token issuer raises capital, they don't have to do that KYC. It's all part of our user base who are already cleared. And they're all interested in ICOs. They trade cryptocurrency. So what we do as our ICO mission control is essentially the token issuer will put their credentials, their management team, white paper, legal memo, videos, images, all of those, and boom, it automates all of that into a beautiful landing page within our exchange, right? So then they don't have to have another website. I mean, they can do that if they want, but they don't have to do that when they come to our exchange. And we're not saying, hey, we will take on all of your public offering. We're saying, hey, why don't you put a subset or a portion of it on our platform so that our user base who are already KYC cleared, who's already deposited Ethereum or Bitcoin or any crypto, so they can immediately participate in your ICO. So it's all automated, and they don't have to. Well, we'll go through an approval process,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll make sure that there's no like fake or scams or all these things, because we need to protect our user base,
Of
right?
course.
But it's actually the best of both worlds. A token issuer can come, put all the credentials, and with essentially within an hour or two, you will have a landing page that has everything there. Now you need to go through our approval process, but after that, you can do an ICO, and then you're immediately able to list it there as well.
Ah, that's awesome. So immediate liquidity for ICO investors.
It's an end-to-end,
Great.
right? And the token issuer can decide, okay, I want to do an ICO from this period to this period, and then I'll do a listing as well, right? So we are going to provide an end-to-end solution for the token issuer and also for the participants who buy the token, but traditionally or right now they're like anxious. Where is it going to be listed? Is it going to be listed in a exchange that I'm already a user, or do I have to sign up again? So
How
all
long
these
will it take? I'm waiting 6 months, 7 months for a listing.
exactly. So we want to take all those frictions away. And that's the beauty of our ICO mission control, which will be integrated into our Liquid platform. So our Liquid platform, which is integrating our CoinX, which is the fiat crypto exchange,
Mm-hmm.
and Cryptos, which is a crypto-only exchange. It's all going to be part of the unified platform, and now it's going to have that ICO market as well.
Awesome. I just love services like this because the ICO market, as it is currently, has a lot of problems. It really does. From the gas wars to the scams, and it just on and on and on and on it goes. Any service that can come in and say, hey, we've done our research. This is not a scam. Otherwise, we wouldn't be listening on our service. And you can invest really, really easily from a customer perspective. And then the businesses has so much to benefit from as well. I just think it's great. It's a really, really cool idea.
Yeah, and there's no need for like a FOMO, a fear of missing out, right? And the customers are already KYC cleared, or they can sign up and then they deposit the token that they want. It could be Ethereum, Bitcoin, Cash token, or anything. And then they can participate when the ICO public ICO starts. You don't have this like, oh, I gotta wait, or I'm gonna miss out. None of that. And that the FOMO actually creates hackers to come in,
Oh, yeah.
do a deep denial of service attack, take over your social media, and have another generic address where it's gone, right? So we want to take all of that away.
Well, and another massive advantage too is you're an exchange. You've got massive capabilities to handle lots of customers at the same time. These ICOs don't. They have simple websites, cheap websites that crash. Like as soon as they get a few thousand users on there trying to all participate at the same time, the attacks come in, everything goes down. So you guys actually have very robust security. So again, just nothing but benefits to be launching.
I mean, it's not only security, the reliability is there as well, right? So we can process 1 million transactions per second in our matching engine. So we can take on all these like immediate buys, but it actually doesn't have to be that, because we're taking out that fear of missing out element out, right? So yes, I mean, for a really popular token, it is first come, first serve, but it's not one of those like, hey, I have to do it now. There's a window, and we try to make it a seamless opportunity.
Awesome. I really like the idea. Let's move on to talking about Liquid. This is a new offering that's come out recently. What is Liquid and what can we expect from it?
Yeah, so it's behind the scenes. It's one of the most technically challenging updates that we are going to do, right? So, Lark, you're based in
In
where
New
are you based?
Zealand.
Australia? New Zealand, right? So, a person who's living in New Zealand, maybe like a crypto enthusiast like you, might have like accounts in many exchanges and all those. So,
Yep.
you are not a typical customer. But if someone lives in New Zealand who wants to buy cryptocurrency using fiat New Zealand currency, it's not a liquid market, right? There might be a local exchange, but it's very limited.
That's exactly how
And
it
yeah,
is.
Bitcoin, Ethereum might be okay, but if you want to go top 20, top 50, top 100, it's very difficult, right? What we do is we're connected to all these exchanges, both externally and internally, right? Where in the past, we're doing the upgrade right now. Like 2 days ago, we did a 7-hour upgrade of our matching engine and our multi-market order. So which means like if there's a person who puts a New Zealand dollar and an Ethereum, but then there's another person who does JPY in Ethereum, we will convert the fiat element so that it's a seamless transaction. In the past, a Japanese JPY denominated trade will have to be done within the order book of JPY, and New Zealand had to do it in New Zealand. Now, because of that, we can do multi-market orders. And that's only on the fiat side. But eventually, where, for example, it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and, for example, Ethereum Ripple, we can exchange that as well. Right? So it's actually between fiat and cryptocurrency where all of these will be multi-market orders. And that brings instant liquidity. So, and that's only on the internal world book. And now we're connecting all these external exchanges into that. So from a user perspective, wherever you live, you will have access to all of these, the tokens that are part of this liquid platform. And that will bring immediate benefit to the user. And so behind this, the technology is very difficult because it's not only the matching engine, it's the subsystems, it's the routing, it's the currency conversion, and everything has to happen real time because all these trading pairs for the user, he just wants to have New Zealand Ripple, but in the back we're converting all these things real time.
Nice, and I think that's gonna, if I understand correctly, that'll also lower the arbitrage differences that we see on so many of the markets happening right now.
Exactly. I mean, there's arbitrage across exchanges, and some whales can potentially move the prices because they can. So I look at a world where it's a token economy, right? So there's going to be hundreds and thousands of real proper tokens with products and services that are already happening, right? So there is a need for liquidity and exchanges, and it needs to be efficient.
Yeah.
So right now, these arbitrage opportunities, so for people who have capital, who can deposit, who can do all these things, it's a great opportunity for them right now to make a lot of money across arbitrage opportunities. And they can potentially also kind of move the market because they have capital. But with the Liquid platform, this actually empowers the average Joe, right? So they can buy, if they're interested in a certain token, they can buy that with their own local domestic fiat currency, and it brings more equality because these big discrepancy on prices will start to go away.
That's awesome. It's such a good service to be offering because liquidity is a massive problem that if you're trading, especially for the smaller coins, and you have all these little exchanges that have almost no liquidity at all. I was looking at something on IDEX the other day and it had like a 10 Ethereum daily volume. I was thinking, this is crazy. You know, when you go to Bitcoin or something, well, there's plenty of liquidity and there might be some small arbitrage opportunities, but in general, as you start going farther down the line, the gaps just get massive. And so any technology, especially like this, that can bring it in is really, really awesome. I want to know, though, where does the Qash token fit into all of this?
Yeah, so Qash token is going to be a utility token where you can pay for all the fees. You can use for deposits and collateral. You can also pay for like leverage. And that's only on our Liquid platform. But we are also expanding our white label services, right? So I believe every country, every station Nate will have multiple exchanges. Are they all going to build their own exchanges themselves, right? They can tap into our platform, which we will provide as a white label. And again, it taps into the liquidity as well. So it's not only like our exchange connecting with the other exchanges, we are going to have white label partners globally. And this will be like 50, 100, even more. And all of that Cash token will be used for payments, settlements, and all the necessary things. So that's where it fits in for the Liquid platform. And obviously, there's the other element of the distributed ledger technology where that will be like the key for new services that are using our DLT.
Awesome. And what about fees? So the fees with Cash, are you guys burning those fees, or are they being returned back to, the Cash Foundation or whatever?
Yeah, so burning tokens is actually it's a delicate from a regulatory perspective, right? Burning tokens means you're intentionally taking supply off the market, which means the price theoretically should go up, right? If a token issuer does that, that could be deemed a security, right? So why do you burn it if it's a utility and people can use it? Well, if you're doing it that means you have intentions for the price to go up, which means that the people of the Cash token holders will assume that the price will go up. So all of these things, if you really strict in certain regulatory countries, that will be deemed a security. So people who are burning, it's very delicate right now. Right, so we actually don't do that. We actually believe when you look at like a fiat currency, you can governments issue more. They rarely burn, right? So
That's true.
well, because the money supply and assuming like even in the fiat world, if US dollar is one of the key currencies, people want to use that. That means there's going to be more need for supply, and even with that supply, the US dollar will appreciate versus other fiat currencies, right? So we look at, rather than burning, we want everybody to use the Cash token. And what we want to focus on is building that utility, right? So in our service, in our platform, we'll probably go into the brokerage and the security space as well. So it could be used there. We'll probably go into the mobile payments and banking sector, whether through partnerships or acquisitions or building our own, it will be used there as well. The world is going to be borderless. A lot of service is going to be available. And we believe what we should focus is increasing the utility value by having been able to use the Cash token for many services, not only our own, but with our partners, our white label partners, and everyone else.
Providing actual utility. And this is where actually quite a few utility tokens kind of fail. They don't actually offer very much utility, just a lot of promises, but actually offering real utility for your token. That's where it comes into play. That's where it gets really interesting.
Yes.
Now, over at your exchange, you guys do 100% cold storage. Now, this has kind of resulted, from what I've seen, in some kind of slow withdrawal times. I mean, the security is fantastic, but what have you guys been doing to try and improve that situation?
It's a dilemma that I have every single day, because our customers and our community remind us how shitty of a job we do, right? So
with love, they love you, but they at the same time,
I mean, they show love, right? They show love. That's why they're disappointed. But we do process once every day as a batch withdrawal, even on weekends, right? But it's 100% cold wallet. And for tokens that have multi-sig, we do multi-sig as well. So I look at cybersecurity, hacking, vulnerability, social engineering. It's an uncurable disease, right? Hackers will always come with a new method to penetrate you. And the challenge of crypto exchanges is, if you're like Visa or a credit card company or any of this, yeah, your social security number might be stolen, your credit card number might be stolen, your privacy, your information might be stolen. But in crypto, your keys will be stolen.
Yeah.
That means they can immediately take it out, steal it, especially if it's a hot wallet environment.
And once it's gone, it's gone. It's switched out into Monero within 20 minutes, and it's just gone forever.
It's gone, right? So So we believe that which trade-off is better for our customers. And there's many other exchanges where if you want instant withdrawals, there's other exchanges who are not regulated, offshore, please go ahead. But our platform right now, we want to strictly be 100% safe from online cyber attacks. And we're even talking to insurance companies, we're talking to trust companies, custodial services. They're all saying, like, if it's cold wallet, we want to work with you. But hot wallet is out of the question. Warm wallet, right?
Yeah.
So, but we are thinking, should we put a little bit in a warm wallet? But if you start accepting and handling like billions of dollars of customer assets, even if you say I'm going to put 10% in a hot wallet or warm wallet, that's 100 million.
That's right. That's a
And
very juicy target for hackers.
What are we going to do? Because that part will not be covered by insurance. Are we going to have a rainy day fund? Are we going to have like other measures? So all these things we do need to look into. But right now we believe that there's no one else that does 100% cold wallet, right? So, and a lot of people buy and hold.
That's right.
So we actually get a lot of support and praise from a customer saying, yeah, we bought it somewhere else, but we want to keep it at your exchange because they feel more safer, right? So, but it is a trade-off that I think about every day.
But I think that's really important. And actually, the trade-off, I fully understand it. This is the thing. If you want maximum security on an exchange, well, you're going to go with you guys because you do 100% cold wallet storage. No one else does that. I mean, not to my knowledge, maybe some very small exchange does, but everyone's got the warm wallets and hot wallets going on. But 100% cold, that's pretty gosh darn safe.
Yeah, so it's a trade-off. And again, with the technology improvements and advancements, there's going to be better solutions that will come. We're not trying to purposely make our lives difficult, not only for our operations or our users. We want to make it beneficial for everybody. But I think but safety always comes first.
Now, DEXs are getting a lot of hype at the moment. Everyone's DEXs are the way of the future, and DEXs do offer a lot of exciting opportunities. Are you planning on going with a decentralized model in the future? If not, why? And how will you compete with decentralized models in the future?
So I think the market is large enough for different types of service providers to coexist, right? So I don't think it's competing with the DEXs of the world, or is a centralized exchange better than a decentralized one. I don't think we need to go into that. But what people need to be cognizant about is, where do regulators come in, right? Can you really say we're distributed exchange, we're decentralized exchange? The custodial part is all the customers, right? So regardless of what kind of trade they do, if it's peer-to-peer, it's not our problem.
Mm-hmm.
It will be their problem if something happens.
Yep.
Right?
That's right.
And you are the platform provider, or if you created that, it's when you look at the other peer-to-peers, all these services, when there's issues, governments will come and get you. Right?
That's exactly what they do.
And also, you will be amazed how people forget their passwords and their keys and APIs. So can you really be 100% decentralized? Or would the governments allow you to be 100% decentralized? Especially if you start moving millions and billions of dollars, right? So where is that threshold, and where's the line? It's still very new. So that said, I think it's a wonderful, a decentralized exchanges, there is a big future for them. But then again, if you want high speed, if you want performance, if you want low latency, if you're an institution, would you go there, right? So that's why I think there's an opportunity for both. And it might be a hybrid going forward. The matching engine part might be centralized or certain nodes, while the custodial side might be users, right? But then would the government and regulators be okay? So all of these things, it's still very early. I think the decentralized exchanges will claim that centralized exchanges are actually very vulnerable from a security perspective, but we think about security every day, right? A user will not think about security every day. And because of decentralized exchange saying like, hey user, now it's all your responsibility. You need to manage your keys. You need to store it. If something happens, it's all your responsibility. As a platform provider, customers will get mad when something happens and hackers will start going at big addresses, right?
Yep.
So there is going to be a balance. So um, yeah, we believe that we can provide a better user experience. So at the end of the day, from a user's perspective, they come and use your service not because you're decentralized or centralized. They'll come because you have the best offerings, you have the best liquidity, it's the best user experience. They look at it from an experience perspective. They probably care less whether if it's centralized or decentralized. They might care if it's regulated, it's properly doing where there's governance and compliance. So I think it's more of the service level that's going to differentiate if you're going to be successful or not.
Absolutely. And, you know, the conversation about decentralized exchanges, I like decentralized exchanges, but the majority of my trading and interactions actually happen on centralized exchanges. It's part of a trust issue, it's part liquidity. And when it comes down to it, the conversation we're having in a way is kind of funny because we're so far away from, you know, mass adoption and all these things. People's first stop is always going to be a centralized exchange. And especially when you can say, hey, we've got great user experience, high security, and all this stuff, people are going to feel safe in what's otherwise a very confusing ecosystem for people to jump into. And it takes a lot. And I think all of us who've been here for a while, we tend to forget about how difficult it can be to actually start out. Going straight to a DEX, that's the whole next level for people.
Yes, I mean the market is still very early. It's going to be large enough for centralized and decentralized. It's the future is bright for this industry.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with that. One final question here for you for today. Everyone keeps talking about institutional money that's going to, you know, come flooding through the door, and we already see a little bit. Oh yeah, I know it's the institutional money question. Everyone keeps talking about it. What are you guys doing to attract those really, really big investors, and what do you think is stopping more big institutional investors from getting involved in cryptocurrencies?
So they're already coming in, but are they coming in droves? Not yet, right? So I think for them, it's all about when they want to either buy or sell or hold large value of asset, they will work with a service provider, a platform, or an exchange that is governed, that has proper compliance, that's audited, that you know the management team, all of these things. There's not a lot of exchanges that actually, when you go to the website, it shows like, hey, we're audited by a big four,
Mm-hmm.
we're regulated under this jurisdiction, this is our management team. There's not a lot, especially the ones that do crypto only and offshore. There's no even website about the management team or jurisdiction. None of those. They're nomads, and no institutional investor will come and trade on those platforms, right? So actually, for them, buying it, who are they buying it from, is also important.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's actually important to do KYC of the true seller, the true buyer, the middleman. So all these things, the ecosystem is starting to put best practices and guidelines. So I think it will start with these over-the-counter, like OTC trades, where these large block trades, where it doesn't need to go into the order book or the price ladder or the exchange, but eventually it's going to come down. And when they try to select exchanges, they will look at exchanges that are compliant, that are governed, that is regulated, that has segregation, that has custodial. So all these things, it takes a little bit of time because we will need to work with banks, and banks will only work with compliant exchanges, right? So the ecosystem will still take a little bit more time, but it's already coming. Like we've been asked or inquired by buyers who want to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. You're not talking about 5 million, 10 million, or 100 million. You're talking
That's
about
a lot of Bitcoin.
that's a lot of Bitcoin, right? And if you want, you don't want to dump that on an exchange because it will move that the market. So for those, it will be over the counter.
Very, very interesting. The whole space is developing so fast and there's so many things going on. And to be a trust provider, I think in the early stages especially, is going to be really good moving forward in the future. Mike, this has been super, super interesting talking to you, getting the perspectives on what's going on in Japan and what you guys are doing and regulations and all that. So thanks for sharing your knowledge with us.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time talking with you.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll see you next time.